Hey guys, hello everyone and welcome to the channel. So today in this video, we are going to learn that how you can make an impactful CV, especially for PhD admission and for postdoc positions. And I'll be focusing more upon a CV which is accepted in abroad or when you are applying for the position in abroad, okay, be it in US, Europe, anywhere outside India. So the focus will be on what are the things which you should not do, like what are the mistakes which you should not do. I'll also share a generic template of the CV and I'll show you how it looks, which is very close to the CV which I have and which I have been using for my applications, and it has got a very good response. I have got a lot of response with this CV, and I have I had a good experience with this particular CV, and I also have learned throughout the process. And earlier I have also made a CV with very common mistakes. Over the period of time, I have rectified those mistakes, and that's why I'm making this video where I can share with you that what are the mistakes you should avoid so that your CV becomes an impactful one. Now, the thing is, why this much focus or why we should worry this much about CV? So the only thing which introduces you with the person who is having a vacancy or the person who is going to hire you is your CV. Okay, you are going to provide all your information in the CV, and the person is going to go through that CV, and based upon that he will decide that whether he has to go through the next process or the next step, which is probably interview. Okay, so whether he is going to interview you or whether he is going to hire you or not. So your CV plays a really important role, and in that case there is a lot of things needs to be taken care of. Okay, especially if you are applying for a position directly through mail, or if you're writing a cold email, it is very important to include your CV in that email, and that's where again the importance of CV comes in. Some common mistakes which I have seen, which students and people have been doing continuously, is that they include a lot of information in their CV. See, the CV needs not to be very detailed. Okay, the reason being, it's just like the first impression which you want to give to the other person. When you meet somebody, you just tell about yourself in short. Okay, if you meet somebody in person, you are just going to meet him and you are just going to talk about things in short. You're not going to tell the whole story about it. Okay, nobody is interested and nobody wants to hear everything about you. It comes later on when you are becoming friend with that person, then you can share your backstory, you can tell a lot of other things related to that. But until the time you are meeting for the person with the first time, you are going to just share the basic things or just important things, or I would say just those relevant things which are relevant, and especially when you are applying for a position, it should be things relevant to that. Okay, so I have seen people including their father name, mother name, address, all these things in their CV. These things are not required. Okay, nobody wants to go through that. Then again, they want to introduce themselves in CV. They write a paragraph about themselves. It's not necessary. Okay, CV has to be very precise, very concise. It has to be not more than two pages. Okay, it should not be more than 2 or 2.5 pages. 5 or 6 pages CV depends upon if you have a lot of publications or if you have a lot of things, a lot of papers, presentations, a lot of book chapters, review articles. If you have a lot of stuff to fill in, then probably your CV could be bigger or it could be longer one. But generally, or a generic CV, a well accepted CV, or an impactful CV should be not more than 2 or 2.5 pages. Okay, so you have to concise the things. That's the first thing. Okay, you have to concise information in your CV. You have to mention everything, but in a concise manner. You do not have to elaborate everything. Okay, that's the first point. The second thing is that your CV should not be cluttered. It should not be having a lot of things into it. Okay, CV should be having points. Okay, like bold points, and those points should mention the things which you want to tell the other person about you. So I'll show you an example. Don't worry about that. I'll take you to my computer screen to show you about that. But just I'm telling that these are the something which you have to avoid. Third thing is that some people also include some more information, like which languages they know, or there are some more stuffs like which is not relevant to the position. Okay, so if you want to remove those things, because some people think that if my CV is long enough, if it is 5 or 6 pages long, it will be good, but that is not the case. It's actually reverse. The person downloads your CV, and when he sees that it is 5 or 6 pages long, the first impression is that, who is, let's say, let's just imagine yourself as a professor. Okay, imagine yourself as a professor in a very well established institute. Daily you are getting a lot of mails about like queries about PhD programs or postdoc program, and you got a mail from a particular person, and now you, like, the mail is impactful, or the subject line is good, and you want to see what the person is about, or you want to know about that person more. So you downloaded that CV, and once you downloaded that CV, you saw that okay, it's 5 or 6 pages long. Now you will think that first impression which is going to come in your mind is how, like, it's time consuming, and your time is actually very precious, because you are a professor. Okay, you are in an institute and you have very limited time, so you cannot read whole 5 or 6 pages. First impression, that's going to be bad. Okay, 5 or 6 pages, the person is going to lose interest. Second thing is, the person will see that okay, you have written everything in a very cluttered manner. He has to put a lot of effort to read things and take out information from your CV. Again, second like thing which will lose his interest, and that's how the person is not even, either the person will not reply you, or the person will just will not go through your CV completely. And if the person has not went through your CV completely, he will not know you, and if he will not know you, he's not probably going to hire you. Okay, so the idea is that you have to make your CV in a concise manner, yet you have to make it in a way that you tell everything about you. Okay, so now I'll take you to my screen, to my computer screen, where I'm going to show you uh, like a part, or I'll just show you my CV. I'll just hide some of the information which are, which are confidential, I can say. So I have I'm just hiding those information. Apart from that, I'll be sharing the part of the CV, like how it looks. Now again, one disclaimer I want to give, that this is not the only CV in the world, okay, which has always worked, or this is the magic CV. It's not like that. This is based upon my experience. Okay, this is based upon what I know about it, and what I have learned through it. I just want to share it with you. It's now your responsibility to how you are using these information and making a good, nice looking, impactful CV. Okay, so I'll be just guiding you in this process. You have to make your own CV, and you have to make your own thing. So don't take this as the holy book of CV, and that the magical CV, and it's gonna help, and it is going to be the only one which is going to be accepted. No, it's not like that. This CV can also get rejected. Okay, I'm just telling you based upon my experiences, and based upon the things which I have learned during the whole process of attaining this postdoc position. Okay, so yeah, let's go to my computer screen and let's see CV, and let's have an idea, and I'll be giving you some tips also in between, that what are the things that you can do and what are the things that you can avoid. All right, so let's straight away go into my computer screen. All right, so this is an example of CV which has a lot of things corrected. Okay, and this could be one of a clean CV, which I am just going to show you completely. So first thing which you will observe over here is that the CV is very clean. Okay, it does not have a lot of things cluttered together. Okay, so it's like things are written in a way, and the fonts and the things are chosen in a way so that the most important thing is bold, and then the next important thing is italic, and then the least important things are in general text. Okay, that's how you should you should try to prioritize the things. Okay, now one more thing which you will notice is that there is no picture over here. So generally this is what I have experienced, that people don't acknowledge much if your CV has a picture of it. It's subjective, some people use it, it's up to you. If you want to use your picture in your CV, it's fine, but I will recommend not to use that. Okay, don't use your picture in your CV, it's just fine. You can start with your name, your email address below that, then your Twitter handle and your LinkedIn address, because these three things are important. Email is important to contact you via mail. Twitter these days has, which is now X actually, is also important, because a lot of research like teams, or a lot of research like groups, they generally post about their notification, about their findings, about something new which they have developed on X or Twitter. Okay, so it's good to share your own Twitter handle and be active over there. And third is LinkedIn. Of course, LinkedIn is something where people generally share about their achievements, or they share about the like if they have done some or completed some conferences or something related to their academic profile or like related to their professional profile. So that's where LinkedIn comes in. So these three are important places to connect with you. Okay, if you have a website of your own, if you have made your own website, you can even mention that over here. Okay, so you can mention your website over here. So these things are all the information or all the things, this you can consider as the personal information which you want to give about you. So if the person is interested to know more about you, he or she can go to your LinkedIn profile, Twitter, or email you of course, and can go to your website and try to give hyperlink in the PDF. Okay, hyperlinks, if you don't know how to put that, I can make a separate video for that, but yeah, basically these should have a hyperlink so that if the person clicks over here, he should be redirected to your Twitter handle or to the LinkedIn page or to the website of yours. Okay, the next thing which you will see is employment. Okay, now because this particular like CV is for a postdoc position, and that's why employment is here, because it also includes the last postdoc which I or the person has done. Okay, so if you are applying for let's say PhD position, if you don't have this employment section, that's fine. Okay, if you have teaching experience, if you have done some teaching, or if you have done if you have done some educational thing which you think that it is also a plus point to include in your CV, you can include it under your employment section. So this is first thing is going to be most relevant thing, and if that is a teaching thing, I would suggest you to take it below education. Okay, so your education should be your first priority. So the first thing which you want to mention just after your name is the highest degree which you have, or the highest like knowledge which you have, which makes you eligible to apply for that position. So if you are applying for a postdoc position and if you do not have a prior postdoc experience, then the first impression or the first of the column should be your PhD, about your PhD. Okay, and if you are applying for a PhD position, of course the first will be your master's degree. So first thing just after your name should be the highest degree, highest qualification, or highest employment which makes you eligible to apply for that particular position. Okay, so as you can see, I have just blurred out over here. This is where you will mention the year in which during which you have completed that particular position, and then the name of that position. So if you have done a postdoc already, so it's one of the postdoc, then the name of the university, and you can see the project name is mentioned in italics, which is the next important thing, where you mention that on what project you have done. Then what are the skills you have learned? Just in 3 points you are just going to mention what are the skills you have mentioned. Now again, you do not have to write down a whole paragraph over here, because the other person who is interested in you just have to go through that. Okay, you have done in this year, you have done this particular postdoc from this university, and you have done a project which is named this, and you have gained these techniques. Okay, or you have gained experience or proficiency in this technique, and some important reactions if you have conducted, you can mention that. Or if you have any other relevant technique which you want to mention, which you learned during your last education or last employment, that you can mention. Okay, again I am saying, if that employment goes in your teaching experience, make that paragraph below the education. Okay, education will come first and then your teaching one. Okay, then for over here, then the next thing is your education. Over here this is mentioned like from which year to which year you have completed your PhD, then the discipline name, if you have done it in chemistry, physics, biochemistry, biophysics, whatever field you have done, whatever discipline you have done, you have to mention that. Then the name of university, so the person will get to know that okay, you have completed your PhD in this field from this university from this year to this year, and your thesis name, like what is the title of your thesis. And then 3 clear objectives or 3 clear points which you learned during your PhD, which you think that is going to be important for that particular position. Let's say if you are applying for a position which is asking for organic synthesis, so you have to mention 3 major syntheses which you have done during your PhD, which you think they are going to be impactful, and the other person will get impressed with that. Okay, so whatever you have done in your PhD, you have to mention those 3 things. Let's say if you are applying for a PhD position, and if you have done some master's projects, of course here will be the year from where to where you have done your masters, then you will write down masters in chemistry, and then you will mention the discipline name. So masters in chemistry will be the discipline, then the name of university, and then thesis which you have done during your masters. And then during that thesis, if you have learned some technique or some skill, just mention about that. Okay, again, you do not have to mention all the education till your 12th or till your 10th, okay, 10th class or senior secondary. You don't have to do that. Just two of your last two higher education is fine. So for the people who are applying for postdoc, PhD and MSc is fine. For the people who are applying for PhD position, MSc and BSc or bachelor's is fine. Okay, you do not have to go below that. You don't have to mention about your 12th and all the other things. Okay, so as you can see, just two of them, very clear and very like straightforward. Next comes your research publications. Now, of course, if you have completed PhD and if you are applying for a postdoc position, you must be having some research publications with you, so you can mention them. Make a format, because you know, when you cite a particular research paper, there are various format in which you write them down. Generally, I would recommend you to write it down in ACS format if you are applying in US. That's the most accepted one. Even in Europe also, people like the ACS format. It is like globally accepted. So you have to write down the whole like about your research publication in the form of ACS format. In that, your name comes, then like the author names, first it comes the author names you have to mention, then the title of the research article, the title of your project, then your journal name, which should be in italic and underlined, then the year in which it was published, then the issue name, then the volume and the pages. That's how a generic like ACS format is. I hope you already know about it. Others, I have just written it like that. They are like, it's basically all the research publications, starting from the most recent one to the least recent one. So you have to start from the one which is most recent. And if let's say you have 4 research papers, or if you have 5 research papers during your PhD, out of which 2 are your first author and 3 are your co-authored ones. So you always try to mention your first author research paper first. I mean, initially you have to start with the latest one and the first author one. Okay, then the least or the next latest one and first author one, and then go for the co-author ones. So you have to always include the first author papers first, give them as more priority, and then the co-authored one. Okay, so that's how you have to mention about your research publication. So that will give an idea that how much research papers or what type of work you have done recently, and whether you have got as a first author or the second author or third author, what type of publication you have got. Now again, for those who are applying for PhD position, if you have done masters and if you do not have a research publication, don't worry, you can skip this section. Okay, research publications are generally not, if it is there, it's well and good, but if it is not there, it's not mandatory. So yeah, you can skip this section. Okay, next comes your skill. Now here I have just included my skills. Okay, these are all the skills included in my CV. I just wanted to explain you that how you have to write them down. So like there are various ways of mentioning your skills. Okay, but this is one of the way which I found more interesting and more eye-catching and more explanatory, and I can also say that this also gives a clear idea about what I know. So like I know cloning and gene engineering, so I have mentioned a title for that, so the person will get to know, okay, this person knows cloning and gene engineering. He also knows about protein expression and purification. He also knows about characterization of protein structure and function. Then he also knows about structure biology. He also knows about bioinformatics. So if the person wants to go in more detail and want to know that what do I know in cloning and gene engineering, then I have mentioned that molecular cloning techniques, including DNA extraction, PCR amplification, what are the things which I have done, which E. coli strains I have used for that, then what are the techniques I have used to get into this skill, or what are the techniques which I know which help me to learn this skill, and what are the other bioinformatics tool which I have used to, you know, get this thing done. Same goes for all these skills. Okay, so I have given a slight more detail over here. Skill part is going to be the one which will be your selling point, which will be the point where the other person will be interested to know that what skill actually you know, and what you are going to be like, how you are going to be useful for that person in their lab. Okay, because that's what they are searching for. They are searching for a person who will contribute to their lab. So your skill section is the most important part. You have to mention in a way that the other person gets the clear idea about your skills. And this is where you have to be a little descriptive, as I have mentioned, and still you do not want the things to be cluttered. It has to be well arranged. Okay, so yeah, that's the thing about skill. I'll just quickly come down. The next section is for conferences and presentations. So you can mention the conferences which you have attended, presentations which you have given. If you have given any international presentation or a national level presentation, include that. If you have given some like poster presentation, include that. If you have attended a conference, include that. Okay, so you can mention it like that. Then there are a few more sections which you can actually add here, okay, apart from this conferences and presentations. If you have written some review letters, okay, so that review letters will come just after your research publications, okay. You can mention your review articles here, and if you have book chapters, that also you can mention over here. If you have patents, that also you can mention in a separate section, and then go to skill, okay. And over here in the conferences and presentations, if you have some memberships of some scientific community, for example, if you have a membership of let's say RSC, Royal Society of Chemistry, or if you have a membership of ACS, you can mention about it. Then the next thing comes is your academic honors and fellowship. So if you have got some fellowship, if you have qualified some exam like GATE or CSIRNet, you want to mention about them, you can mention it in this way. You can mention the year and the name of the exam, or the name of the fellowship or academic honor which you think is relevant, okay. And it's always good to mention them. And then you just want to end it with the references, because referees, information of referee is very important. So this is one of the good way of writing the information of referee. Mention the name of referee, then their affiliation, that which department they are affiliated to, then the name of university in which they are affiliated, then the address of that university, just the state and country, that's it, and the pin code, that's it, okay. You do not have to mention the whole address, okay. That's just the state, country, and the pin code, that's all. Then their phone number, and then their email address. This is how you have to, and again, the email address should be hyperlinked, so that when the person clicks on this, he or she can directly mail to your referee, okay, because they will generally discuss about your like things with your referee, or they will ask for a reference letter. So that makes things easier for the other person to go deal with. So see, this is just a 2-page like a CV. It's not a long one, but still it contains like yeah, it's almost like 2.5 page, but it contains all the information which is required to like tell about you, okay. So this is one of the way how you can make it. I'm not telling that you just have to copy this whole template, and that's why I'm not going to share the template as such, because I just don't want it to be, you know, just I don't want you to just copy and paste the same way, but I just want you to be creative. Try to use, there are different templates available online, okay. If you will just search on Google that template for CV, you will get a lot of templates, but using those templates to provide information, or make sections like this and make a good CV, that's the creative part which you have to give, and which you have to do. You have to invest a time, you have to invest your time on this making CV, because this is going to be your one of the first impression which you are going to have with your with the person who is going to hire you, okay. So be very serious about making your CV. Don't be in hurry. Good CV can give, or like that can be the breaking point where you can either get the job, or you can get the position, or you will not get the position, okay. So be very careful about it. And that's all for this video, guys. I will try to make more videos related to PhD and postdoc admissions. I'll be also talking about how to write email, so stay tuned for that on this particular channel. I'll try to include more information, because for that sake I made this particular channel, okay. So I'll be more regular with more videos regarding your how to write down statement of purpose, how to write down email. All these things are coming up in the days, okay. If you have any specific if you have any specific query, you can ask me in the comment section below, and yeah, I'll try to make those videos as well. So that's it from my side for this particular video, and I hope you liked it. I hope you got to learn a few new things from here, and that's it. All the best for your application. I wish you all the best, and I hope that you will get your dream like PhD or postdoc, wherever you want to do. So all the best. Take care.